Hello and welcome to the Movies Past and Present podcast. It's June 17th, 2022, and this is episode 87. I'm your host, Stanford Clark, and I'm podcasting from the crossroads of the West in beautiful Salt Lake City, Utah. Just like my blog, moviespastandpresent.com, I'll be providing recommendations, commentary, and reviews about current and classic cinema. Thanks for tuning in, and let's do this thing. Summer movie season is upon us now in a big way, and a couple of more interesting movies to add to the mix are going to be opening up over the next couple of weeks. Coming on Friday, June 24th, is the new biopic about Elvis Presley, which is aptly titled Elvis. Elvis is from Warner Brothers Pictures, and it's directed by Baz Luhrmann. It's an epic big screen spectacle, a thoroughly cinematic drama. The press materials say that it's seen through the prism of the complicated relationship between Elvis, who's played by the actor Austin Butler, and his manager, Colonel Tom Parker, who is played by Tom Hanks. The film delves into the complex dynamic between these two that spans over 20 years, from Presley's rise to fame and to his unprecedented stardom, and also against the backdrop of the evolving cultural landscape in America. Olivia DeJonge plays Priscilla Presley. It's got a big cast. If you've seen any trailers, it's very splashy, done in very much a Baz Luhrmann style. So I'm actually quite looking forward to seeing Elvis. It is rated PG-13 by the Motion Picture Association for substance abuse, strong language, suggestive material, and smoking. Next up is a movie opening up on July 1st. It's another in the series of the Minions films. This one's called Minions: The Rise of Gru. Don't know, maybe not necessarily the Minions films, but within the whole context of the Minions within the Despicable Me universe. Clearly, given this title, The Rise of Gru, Gru's in it. I don't know much about this film. I've seen the trailer, but the trailer's mostly focusing on Minions gags. So hopefully Minions fans are going to have fun at it. It's rated PG by the Motion Picture Association for some action violence and rude humor. Shocking. So again, two movies coming soon to theaters. Elvis on June 24th and Minions: The Rise of Gru on July 1st. In reviews, I'd like to give my review of the new film from Pixar Animation Studios, which is Lightyear. Of course, we know that Buzz Lightyear is a very popular, longtime character within the Pixar universe. It's a character from the original Toy Story. Pixar decided to do something that's a bit meta. I think it works. Maybe not everybody does, but the way it's described in the movie is that Andy, who's the human boy in the Toy Story films, at least the first three Toy Story films, he gets a Buzz Lightyear toy, and we know that that's what really launches the Toy Story, the plot of the original Toy Story film. But really, Lightyear is actually an action figure from Andy's favorite movie of the same title. And this movie, Lightyear, is that movie. So again, a little bit out there, a little bit high concept, but I think it works, and it's just fun. A real standout in this film, of course, is just the gorgeous animation. If you've seen the trailers, there's a very photorealistic look to it. Clearly the characters are are animated. They don't necessarily make them. They look like an animated character, not necessarily um, trying to go for photorealism and with humans and whatnot. But it's just got this wonderful, wonderful look to it, and really, it's like Pixar made a space adventure movie. Is really what it is, and it's a sci-fi movie. It pays homage to all sorts of sci-fi films from 2001: A Space Odyssey to Star Wars, and and kind of everything in between, as well as I think being true to itself within this Toy Story universe. Buzz Lightyear, the character in this movie, is voiced by actor Chris Evans, and then he's got a bit of a posse with them: Keke Palmer, Taika Waititi, Dale Souls, and again, you might have seen this in the trailers. Buzz is gifted a robotic cat to help keep him company, and the cat is voiced by Pixar animator Peter Sohn, and he's so funny. He's Socks the cat really steals the show. But the show really overall, I think, has got great humor, great heart. As I already mentioned, the gorgeous animation, and it's a really fun sci-fi adventure. It's a perfect summer movie, and the kind of Disney adventure movie that I loved as a kid. And so I could see why it could be, Andy's favorite movie. So Lightyear's playing exclusively in theaters. I saw it in IMAX, and of course I always recommend seeing it in IMAX if you can. But I think it's going to be great on any big screen. And it's just so great to have a Pixar film on exclusively in theaters. So happy about that too. So definitely, if you like, Pixar animation and you like sci-fi, definitely go check out Lightyear. Just want to give a little progress update of my main movie watching project that I've been doing during 2022. This project I've been calling it 20th Century Fox: A Closer Look. So the intent of this was just to get more familiarized with the content of the 20th Century Fox catalog from 1935 when 20th Century Fox was formed. Basically, it was a merger of the Fox Studios and the 20th Century Studios, and then through 2019, when the studio was acquired by the Walt Disney Company. So I picked 100 films that I felt were representative of the studio and of the different genres that they were portraying or a part of. And I can't say it's necessarily a perfect list, but it's been a good list for me, and I've just been absolutely having a ball with this. I track this on my Instagram, or my Movies Past and Present Instagram, which is at Movies PAP, if you are so inclined. And my goal is to watch 2 movies a week, because again, there's 100 movies, and I'm just about in the middle of this. So I've been watching movies from the 1950s, but just wanted to give a couple of shout outs to some films that you might want to see if you are so inclined. First up is just one of the all-time great films. It's All About Eve, and this film came out in 1950, directed by Joseph L. Mankiewicz. It stars Bette Davis as a stage actress in New York City, and she is having a bit of a midlife crisis, Um, Again, realizing that she's getting older, and there aren't necessarily acting roles for her. And this young ingenue named Eve, who's played by Anne Baxter, enters into her life, and she gives the pretense that she's an innocent young thing, but she's really not. She's got some pretty rotten uh, stuff that she's trying to do. But it's a terrific movie about the theater. It's a great movie about aging and relationships, and these performances are all, it's a tour de force. So highly recommend All About Eve if you have not, if you've never seen it, or if you've already seen it. It's a great movie to watch again. Another great film that I recently watched, this is from 1953. It's Gentlemen Prefer Blondes. This is directed by Howard Hawks, but it's a musical. It's loosely based on a stage play, but this I think they take a very different tact on this. But it's classic. It stars Marilyn Monroe and Jane Russell as two. They have a cabaret act, but they're Marilyn Monroe's character in particular is a gold digger. She's looking for money. Jane Russell's less interested, but she wants a relationship if it meets her needs. But it's this movie is so much fun. They've got so much style and pizzazz. This film contains that very famous musical number of "Diamonds Are a Girl's Best Friend," with Marilyn Monroe in that pink dress, and they're in that red background with all the dudes in tuxedos. And anyway, the movie is an absolute blast, and it was a fun thing to watch with 20th Century Fox. Also, during this time period, 20th Century Fox started. Television was a real threat to movies, and for people going out to the movies rather than people staying home on TV. And it seems like that hasn't changed much, has it, over the last 70 years? But still, one of the ways that 20th Century Fox decided to combat it was to create a much grander big screen experience. And they came up with this thing they called it CinemaScope. And it's basically widescreen film. So the screen projection would be much larger if you were to see it in the theater, and again providing a grander experience that really differentiates a theatrical experience from sitting home and watching TV. The very first CinemaScope film that 20th Century Fox made was a drama called The Robe. It's from 1953. And it stars Richard Burton and Gene Simmons. It's set in the time of Jesus Christ, and Richard Burton plays a Roman guard who was there when Christ gets crucified, and he feels tremendous guilt and tremendous confusion about it. But he comes in contact with somebody who actually has the robe, like the last thing that Christ was wearing before his crucifixion. And it kind of sets into motion the stuff where Richard Burton is either thinking he needs to get rid of the robe, but turns out that maybe there was something else in mind for his life. It's not necessarily my favorite film, but CinemaScope is awesome. And it continues. I watched the first time the film Three Coins in the Fountain, which was set in Rome, Italy, so I loved that. But it's about three American women who are working in Rome, and how they all find love, and they tossed coins in Trevi Fountain there in Rome. It was fun to see a movie. Fred Astaire made a movie at Fox, which I didn't know. It's called Daddy Longlegs, and it stars Leslie Caron. It's got a bit of a creepy premise but in that, Fred Astaire plays a wealthy benefactor of a young girl who's Leslie Caron, and he pays for her college education, and then they fall in love with each other. So anyway, it's all above board, and the musical number, even though it sounds a bit creepy, the musical numbers are fantastic. Um, I think one of the great CinemaScope films, and really one of the great adaptations of a Rodgers and Hammerstein musical on film, is The King and I, which 20th Century Fox produced. It came out in 1956. It stars Deborah Kerr and Yul Brynner, and I could watch that "Shall We Dance" scene over and over. It's so fantastic, so beautifully filmed, such wonderful music. I just love, the Rodgers and Hammerstein music is so terrific. It's a tragic film if you're familiar with the story or the source material, but wow, beautiful use of CinemaScope and just such a well produced film. Uh, the last couple of films that I watched, uh, both starred Joanne Woodward. One of them is The Three Faces of Eve, which is a pretty heavy drama about a housewife who is suffering through multiple personality disorder. And I think it was a bit groundbreaking, the film, because it was really brought to life, or portrayed in a pretty stark and realistic way. This challenge that some people face. And then the first film that Joanne Woodward starred with her then boyfriend, and then who became her husband, Paul Newman. Their first film they made together, called The Long Hot Summer, which is loosely based on some novels by William Faulkner, with a little Tennessee Williams thrown in there. So kind of dysfunctional families and living in the South. But it's quite a good film. Again, it's shot in CinemaScope. Great acting. Orson Welles is in it. Angela Lansbury, Lee Remick. Anyway, I was surprised how much I enjoyed it. So I could go on and on. This has been a fun project. It continues on. If you're so inclined, please follow me on Instagram @moviespap. And then also, I've got the complete list on letterboxd.com. I'll have a link to the podcast notes in my blog there. But again, you can see, and I'd be very interested to get your opinion on any of these movies that you've seen that you've enjoyed. Again, I was just focusing on these more recent ones I've seen from the 1950s. But wow, I've loved so many of these films, and it's been so fun to watch, and I've just learned a ton. So anyway, there you have it, my update on my 20th Century Fox A Closer Look project. In Classic Cinema Corner, we've got 3 Fathom events that are coming up, and Fathom events, these actually aren't tied in with the Turner Classic Movies Big Screen Classic Series, but they very well could be, because they're following the exact same format. So first up is the Thing. This is a 40th anniversary screening of The Thing. Now, this actually is a remake by director John Carpenter. It stars Kurt Russell, and it's a chilling version of the classic film The Thing. It's set in a winter, or during, I guess it's always winter, because they're in Antarctica, but it's at a research station in Antarctica. There's a 12-man research team, and they find an alien being that has fallen from the sky and has remained buried, frozen in the snow for over 100,000 years. Soon, this beast is unfrozen and unleashed, and he, of course, creates havoc and terror. So this, if you've never seen, believe it or not, I've seen this movie. It's a good one. It's scary, but it would be fun to see it. Fun to see it on the big screen. So the Thing 40th anniversary screening is happening on June 19th and June 22nd. Check the Fathom Events website for more information and about if it's playing at a theater near you. I will have links to the Fathom Events website in the podcast notes on my blog. It's basically fathomevents.com. Next up is a 25th anniversary screening of the science fiction film The Fifth Element. This is happening on June 26th and 29th, again through Fathom Events. From its opening scenes in 1914 Egypt to its towering views of 23rd century New York City and its mind-expanding journey to the faraway world, faraway worlds, The Fifth Element is really a trippy movie. It's directed by French director Luc Besson. It's got great cinematography, great production design, great costumes, and really just great acting. Bruce Willis stars in this movie. He plays this taxi driver who discovers that the fate of the world is contained within a mysterious young woman named Lilu, who's played by Mila Jovovich, excuse me, I'm saying her name wrong, who literally drops out of the sky and into his life. It also stars Chris Tucker as this hyperactive radio host. Luke Perry's in it. Anyway, it became a real passion. It was a real passion project for Luc Besson. And I think in many ways it's really, it's a sci-fi film that a lot of people have enjoyed. So the 25th anniversary screening of The Fifth Element is happening on June 26th and June 29th. Go check that out. Also happening on June 26th and June 27th is the next step in a Studio Ghibli re-release. It's The Cat Returns. So this is an English dub of the Studio Ghibli. It's again this film that's now 20 years old. It's a charming and magical family adventure, and this English dub includes the voices of Anne Hathaway, Carrie Elwes, Tim Curry, Kristen Bell, and Judy Greer. And I'm trying to think. I'm just not sure I've seen The Cat Returns. I might have. I've seen most Studio Ghibli films. But anyway, this might be a chance to check it out again. So June 26th and June 27th, the 20th anniversary screening of The Cat Returns. Tickets are available via the Fathom Events website, fathomevents.com. I'll have a link to all these in the podcast notes on my blog. And, you can check out classic cinema on the big screen, which is a really great thing. Well, that does it for this episode of the Movies Past and Present podcast. Again, links and more information about the movies discussed in today's podcast can be found in the podcast notes on my blog at moviespastandpresent.com. Subscribe to the podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, and Stitcher. Links are also on the blog. And follow me on Instagram. My handle is @moviespap. As always, I hope you will enjoy some good movies this week, whether they be from the past or the present. Thanks again for listening, and until next time, be safe out there and dedicate yourself to the truth.